Welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Inside Track podcast. We've got a fabulous guest with us today. Martin, how are you?
I'm doing great. Very happy to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have you on. And obviously, Russell joining me as always now. How are you, Russ?
Very good, thank you, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Now, probably the best place to start, Martin, is obviously just to give a bit of a background of who you are, what and really what FitLink does. What's what you guys do for a business?
Yeah, what we do is very connected to who we are. So I think that I can manage it to do it in a very short version. I was born in Argentina, so you probably noticed by my accent. So even when we say we are from Cologne, Germany, so the city where the FIBO is, you hear my Spanish accent the whole time. So the reason is I was born speaking Spanish, grew up in Argentina, then at some point came to study to the German Sport University. I really liked it here. It is a wonderful place to be. I enjoyed it a lot. And I was always connected with sports activity. When you migrate to a new country, you always see things that you miss. For example,
Absolutely.
The food, especially. So that's the first thing that you recognize. So the food that I always enjoy in Argentina, you cannot buy it here so easily. And then when it gets professional, then you realize that there are also some apps that you don't have here. Probably now if you go to China or some Chinese come to Europe, you also miss some apps, the one way or the other. And the more we work in fitness, me and my co-founder, who is also born in Argentina, we met there, and then we came.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we came more or less together at the same time to Germany. We always miss these products and services in new countries. So because we speak Spanish, we always have a connection with the Mexican or the Spanish market. And then you realize, okay, there are some wonderful fitness solutions in Germany that could be lovely in Spain, but they don't have it. And there are some wonderful solutions in Spain that are missing here in Germany. And then you start looking at solutions worldwide and you realize, okay, yes, so somehow there is this topic that there are some apps that are wonderful, and then you talk to the people and they say, oh, I would love to have that, but there isn't it. Or we tried to enter the German market, but it was so difficult. And that's kind of what pushed us to found FitLink, because we wanted to help fitness centers to have the apps that are worldwide being successful, and to help also providers to enter the new markets and be successful on it.
And that's a great thing, because it's like you say, there's a lot of products that are almost hidden in certain countries, and you think, well, absolutely, we can bring that to Germany, to Spain. Obviously, you guys are potentially looking at the UK. I know you were talking about that as well when we last spoke, and I think there's no one really other than you guys that are looking at that. So probably, I guess a good place to start is, you say that obviously these apps are in different places. I mean, but obviously the markets are very different. So you guys work in the German market and the Spanish market. What would you say is the big difference between those two?
Well, you have some, I would say some mentality difference. Of course, you have it everywhere. But well, I come from Argentina and the Latin American continent. You all speak the same or more or less an understandable language. Either you speak Portuguese or Spanish, and you have a huge continent that only speaks one language and has some common cultural identity in certain things. So very similar religion and a couple of things that are very similar. When you come to Europe, you find a lot of countries that are also geographically, like in terms of meters, very small, with a lot of people, but you have a lot of cultural differences, and every country develops some sort of ecosystem. So, and first you have this mentality difference, which is, I think that it's getting, it's becoming at some point part of the past, because we all tend to work together and speak similar languages. New generations speak more and more English, and you learn more from each other. But I would say that mentality is one thing, and then the ecosystem that developed at some place gets produce also some differences.
I can imagine as well, because you're especially like Europe, because it is so old as well. Obviously, you've got the likes of America and the emerging economies. They're sort of growing up with the background of say Europe, and they're taking on and expanding on it. Whereas I guess Europe is pretty much, because it's so old, you've got all those cultural challenges in there that you're always going to have to address.
Yes, I was talking, in fact, with a Chinese expert in the fitness industry who told me Latin America was for him more interesting than Europe.
Is that right?
Yes, and it also, so everyone I tell them, everyone gets surprised. I got surprised as well. For me, it was also super interesting because I'm used to say, okay, I can connect you through Spanish to Spain. Yeah, so because Europe has this made in Europe, this trajectory that everyone likes. But yes, internationally, you have a very dynamic market in Latin America, with people that are open-minded, but also starting some new things from zero, and everything is moving too fast. And as using exactly the word that you said, here in Europe, we have everything more consolidated.
Yeah.
So you already have these big names that are established. And if you come to Germany, or if you go to the UK, or if you go to Spain, you have to knock on their doors and say, hey, I'm bringing this new product, this new service. Let's try to talk. And they have this position to decide a lot in the industries.
Yeah, and the great thing is, there's so much money now down in South America. I mean, you look at Brazil, and their economy's flying, and Argentina must be. I don't know as much about Argentina, but that must be flying as well. And you can only think that's a really ripe market for some new businesses to go into.
And yes, well, you are talking to an Argentinian, and you probably heard the news about the Argentinian economy always going up and down and up and down. So if I'm saying now to an English podcast, oh yeah, economy in Argentina is flying, it could be it could be funny. It could be not real. But the thing is that the opportunities are there because the markets are so dynamic. And what I always insist is this is also an opportunity for European brands.
Yeah.
Yes, because culturally, Latin America is how to say, it's very close to Europe. Yeah. So from culture, so we with English it's easy to understand. With Spanish, we have a common languages to understand at many levels. And what did I want to say? Yeah, it's moving very fast, and the people there appreciate a lot the European goods and services. So still, the made in Europe has a good image. So it is a lot of opportunity, and it's also a bit kind of sad, because if you try to sell one Argentinian product, if you're in Argentina and you sell an Argentinian product, some people can distrust. But if you come and say, "Oh, I'm bringing this British solution that is amazing," it has already some. So the expectations are that it could have a high standard.
I'm surprised with that in Argentina. I'm surprised I like anything British.
Well, but it is
maybe Spanish and Portuguese. Now, when you work with companies, Martin, what's the main thing you're looking for? So if you've got companies that are looking to go from Spain to Germany, Germany to Spain, what are the sort of things that you're looking for to try get them in? How do you work with those companies?
So one thing that for us is decisive is the state in which the company is. I would say that we do some screening so that we can deliver some added value to these companies. And something that is very important for a long-term relationship is their open-mindedness. So they're open-minded to adapt their products and services to a new market. So because this is something that we see very often, if you are, I don't know, with your solution, you're an expert in England, or in Great Britain, and then everyone around you tend to tell you that you're amazing. So you have that solution, you get, I don't know, 60% of the market, everyone listens to you, and then you tend to believe, okay, I am amazing. And you go to another place and you realize, oh, my solution would work here very well. But the ecosystem is different. They speak a different language. They don't know you. And starting from this concept that they don't know you, and then you also have to show some appreciation for the local ecosystem and the local relationships. That's something that can be a deal breaker at many stages. So in order to prevent that, this is something that we work during the screening. So when we are having conversation, we try to see that the company on the other side is open to adapt to our suggestions or the tactic to attack the new market.
And in terms of so if you were to go into a new market, take a new company, what's the sort of process of bringing those in? Because I can imagine it's not just a matter of going, right, we're going to start advertising. I assume you use a process to sort of gradually get these brands into, or is it just a matter of using your connections and getting them in?
Yes, but I would say that most of the companies that get to us, they have already the plan. That's why I'm talking about that they have to be open-minded, but there is already some clear intention to go to a new market, and then they hear of us. So I wouldn't say that when we come, everything starts from zero. And then we try to work with, so doing the diagnostic is the first part, of course, learning as much as possible from our side of the product. And then it depends a lot on what the product or system they are offering. So you have different, starting from data privacy. Yeah. So if a software is entering Europe, it's a very different situation to if some hardware is entering to Europe. Yeah. So we have some contacts to check if this is legally correct to move forward. So there are a couple of stages that need to be checked. And then you have to check on the whole communication, how it's going to be done, where is it going to be presented, and which is the strategy that we can formulate with the provider to enter correctly the market. Or if the strategy is already in place, what can be done to get most out of it.
So do you have any, do you have any, just I guess for my own benefit as well, do you have any kind of example of like a I don't know, a lot of like a perfect situation that you've had where you've sort of had a product, an item that you're trying to bring into a market, and you know it's just gone incredibly well? Do you want to talk us through one or two of those?
The thing is that people tend to come to us. It's like with the lawyers when they have issues. So or when they realize about an issue, and it's always trying to make the best out of it until it works and it moves.
So it's kind of a situation where they potentially have tried to get it into a market, potentially unsuccessfully, and then they come to yourself, and then you work through those barriers and you facilitate the next stages.
Yes, so I have some examples that went really well, or that can explain the whole situation. You have solutions that need to get connected with other softwares, for example. So working to do a connectivity through API with this few software is a first step to make it available in the new country. So that's the first step. Then getting some affiliates and people selling it is a second step. Then commenting to the media and to the local networks that this solution is there is another step. And then gaining some awareness with constant ads and events, that's another step. So unfortunately, so reality is always a bit different to how everything looked in the plan. But I think that's one example that went very according to the plan, still with some ups and downs, because you might do some campaign that worked well, got really enthusiastic. The second campaign didn't, and then you realize, okay, it's something needs to be adapted on the plan, and you need to be flexible with that. But I would say that's a very typical case.
Okay.
And the sort of things that you guys are working with, is it mainly sort of the sort of app side of it, or is it equipment stuff? What's the main sort of clients that you tend to find, or is it literally anything within the fitness market?
We have the vision to work with everything. Nowadays we found some area that we really enjoy, and probably at some point of growth we might change something, but we really enjoy these startups that have some new concept.
Oh wow.
And this makes FitLink more interesting, So then the gym owners come to us and say, okay, what do you have that is new? So how is that? And we enjoy in explaining this. So I would say that's a lovely case. And then we go from software to hardware. So also in the hardware topics and in equipment, there are new solutions coming to the market. If you guys, I think that you are coming to the FIBO next week, we will see a lot of new things. So there's always new things coming up in the market. So this is the kind of solutions that we offer the most.
Do you find you get a lot of backlash from the companies that are already there? Not necessarily backlash as such, but in the sense of obviously you're continually bringing new products onto a market where it's probably quite, especially like fitness. I've worked with fitness companies before, and trying to bring a new brand into, especially the UK, is very difficult, because you've got all your established brands and everything else, and they obviously work quite hard to keep the new brands out. So do you find that a hard thing to do, or is it relatively easy to slide those companies in?
That's a very good question that I don't ask myself so often that, or I haven't answered it very often. But to be honest, we had many thoughts with my co-founder about that at the beginning. So when we were planning many activities, we wanted to do everything right so that we could be bulletproof, because we thought, okay, we are bringing this company that will change the ecosystem, and that other company. At some point, so we realized that what we're bringing is kind of new, and also brings some new water to the river. And we have our focus in talking about cooperations. Not only talking about it, but also in terms of all our activities. So we go to the established brands and we say, let's find a way to cooperate. So let's find a way, because we bring something that if we are bringing it, it's because probably it is a bit different to what you have. So let's try to connect it. Let's try to make something that brings benefit to you and to us, and to make it very, very concrete. What you're offering, bringing so many brands to the UK, you could also perceive that it's something that FitLink could do, and we would be some sort of competitors. And still, we have very clear communication, and we have a very friendly contact, because we realize, no, the more we cooperate, so the more we can reach. And to make it now very short, so you realize I really enjoy talking. Yes, we had a lot of thoughts about how competition might react, but there wasn't any issue. There were a couple of I would say some comments of someone who got a bit whatever, so annoyed or anything, but nothing public and nothing problematic. Everyone tends to be very open, at least for the curiosity.
Well, I guess that's the key. If you've got something new coming in, there is that curiosity there, and it's I guess it's an opportunity for them. It's like I tell a lot of clubs, sometimes actually competition helps drive more demand. So it's sometimes a good thing, unless they're doing exactly the same thing as you at a cheaper rate, and then it becomes a challenge. But it's quite often that's why you'll see a lot of car dealerships in the same place and stuff like that, because it drives the demand into those areas. Where do you see? Because I can imagine if you're working. Go on, sorry.
So we always say we have this fight on 50% of people or 20% of people of the population, total population, who goes to the gym. So if you really look at it and the numbers, we are having a very stupid discussion or a stupid competition, because it should always. So if we are discussing about 20% of anything, so someone has to come to the idea of look at this 80%. And let's think how to get to this 80% and not stay on the fight or competition for a small percentage.
Me and Russ talk about that all the time. In the UK, I mean, we've just had a report out this week, and we've managed to get up to 16.9% penetration. And okay, we've moved from 12% 10 years ago, but it's still really small. You think there's that 80% plus out there that really is an opportunity. So we shouldn't have to fight each other for clients. So you're absolutely right. That 80% really needs to be tackled. Now, go on.
If I may add, I'm sorry, but I really enjoyed this part or this aspect of the conversation, because it's crazy that we talk about competition when we are talking about such a small part. And if we would be dealing with something that could be problematic at some point, if we would be, I don't know, selling cars, as you say. So if at some point everyone has a car, we might have an issue with the environment. So if every single person has a car, or whatever expanded to everyone could be a problem. But if we are talking about fitness and health, and better solutions for fitness and health, we are really helping society in that. So and not all the current solutions are solving the current problems. So if I talk with, I don't know, the older members of my family, you still hear some people saying, "Oh, I don't want to go to the gym because that and that," or I don't want to, I don't know, train that and that, because then, and you realize, okay, but you are getting older, you need to gain more muscle mass, and it will help you on everything. So to be very concrete, I had this conversation with my father some days ago, and this is a huge percentage of population. And this is something that we need to do. So we need to work together to reach them and to help them to have a better life.
I think,
I guess on that point though, because I always think the older demographic is an interesting one, and it's one that I've never really managed to nail. I mean, I guess if you looked at it, and maybe I don't know, I always think this is an interesting example. So, Martin, are you aware of Wetherspoons pubs?
No.
Martin, you need to come to the UK and go to Wetherspoons. It's a fine establishment. But I'm going somewhere with this, Ryan. But why is it that you can go into, if I take my son into a Wetherspoons for breakfast, you will actually probably see 20 or 30 older people who are sitting there. Some are having breakfast, some are having a pint at 8 o'clock in the morning. They serve alcohol first thing in the morning, But what it is a lot of it is community. These guys are going in there because it is actually a community that they've built within this establishment. You go to the gym. So I went to the gym first thing this morning, and how many people were there of that demographic, 60 and older? None, because we're asking people want to go out at that point. They want to be fit and healthy. They understand that, but they want to go out and connect with people. They go to the gyms and the facilities that we have and the offerings that we do have, and we don't cater for those. We just, the facilities look for the 16% that we're talking about, because that's an easy penetration rate. This is a harder one, but how can somewhere like a Wetherspoons, which is the opposite, and these people know that they're going there and what they're doing isn't particularly healthy, but they are getting community and they're getting what they want out of it, yet the facilities that we have don't provide those. I always find things like that fascinating. So when we're trying to penetrate demographics, I don't think we look for that. Maybe there's 0.5% in there. I don't know. Maybe it's 0.1%. It's probably tiny, but we don't look for those. We always look for the 16%. So it's cramming as much as we can in there. And that's, I just always find that interesting, and how we community build and how we improve our products. And I guess that's a lot of what you actually do, because for facilities, again, I think you were sort of, as you were saying, Ryan, when you go into a market and you've got a really penetrated market and you've got one of the budget operators open down the road from you, I guess the challenge is how do you pivot? How do you suddenly be different to these people who've just come in down the road? Because you can't keep on doing the same stuff you've done for the last 10 years for twice the price. It's not going to work anymore. And I guess that's where, you come in and actually introducing things. How do you change the market? How do you improve? How do we evolve as an industry? And like I say, and I also do quite like Wetherspoons. So this probably won't be the last time I talk about Wetherspoons on this podcast. And my son loves Wetherspoons as well. Great chocolate cake there as well. But how can Wetherspoons build communities? Yeah, our fitness centres, they do build communities, but you go there and it's largely the under 30 community, maybe a little bit over that, but mainly it's those people who are connecting, and that's who they aim at, and that's why we're having trouble widening that 16%, and that's why it's going up so slowly, because we just keep on aiming at the same market. So anyway, I find that conversation absolutely fascinating as well.
And if I can add something on top, so this conversation is quite common, because also this third age topic is something that the whole industry is trying to realize. So we know that there is a topic, and also we all have family members who get older, and then we want to assist them with physical activity. And I heard last year one presentation from someone from Colombia, which was a very interesting approach, because he said, I will do a fast resume. He said something like, don't talk me about health, because my target, so my audience is 20 years old. So, and when I was 20 years old, I couldn't care less about health. So, and I found it super interesting, because he was saying exactly the opposite to what everyone was talking about in that Congress. Yeah. And what I found for me, like the added value, is that he can focus on that audience. He can focus on those people. And then we can also focus on another group. And then it's not about making fitness only for elderly. It's mainly about making as many solutions as possible. And then you will have people with overweight who cannot move. And then you have to develop some fitness for them that is attractive. And then you have people who, for religious reasons or whatever, so they don't want to go to the gym for whatever. So, and that's the what I like of bringing more solutions, because I think that we need to create a multiplicity of offers that get to everyone. So you also need the 20 years old people going to the gym and or doing physical activities and be healthy. And do not forget about that the 60 plus who also needs to go regularly to do some physical activity.
It's a very interesting point, that, actually, Martin, because someone saying a 20-year-old, I mean, when I was in my 20s, I wouldn't have had to train. I was still relatively healthy. I mean, there are obviously people that are healthy in their 20s, but the large majority of kids that age, I mean, you look at my son's 20, and you look at all of his mates, and he climbs, but a lot of his mates don't, and they're not unhealthy. You know what I mean? They're not overweight. They're not. And so that desire, or the reason they join a gym, isn't necessarily to be healthy. It's probably more aesthetics.
Yeah.
So they're training to look better, and rather than, I want to be healthy, have a strong heart, I need to be able to walk down. They don't have that issue. But I guess everything we do, because they're the main bulk of the membership, we're focusing on that style. So we don't attract then. And I don't know whether you've seen in the UK, there's a huge movement over here all about wellness and trying to connect with the NHS and do that. But that's the first time, and it's probably only a couple of years old, that movement. And it's the first time they've actually started looking and going, actually, we need to start going, health is potentially a reason. But then how do we attract those people? Because for 40 years or whatever it is, we've actually not tried to encourage those people in, and their mindset has changed. Because obviously when they were 20, didn't give a monkeys. Now they're in their now they're in their 60s. They're suddenly going, actually, health's really important, but I don't know what to do. I don't want to walk into a gym full of 20-year-olds and smash the weights out. It's different, but we're not really catering for that. And I think that's why a lot of that age group end up doing walking and golf and whatever it is, rather than joining gyms.
Yeah, and what I insist, so for me, the learning on that Congress that I was 1 year ago exactly, because it was also during FIBO, is that differentiation would be the key. Because immediately after that speech, I had someone who was close to me and was only talking about the third age, and he was focusing and saying, no, we have to change everything. So stop doing exactly what we are doing and focus only on 60 plus. And I was like, no, I think that you're not getting it. So it is important that we keep that group. And then if you are so good with that group, then go for that group. And then let's try to create different things. Because also you guys go to the gym, I go to the gym. So we are kind of in a similar mindset at some point. But the majority is not in that mindset or is not in that group, and eventually consume a different media, eventually consume different food and many things. And we also need to get them to have a healthy lifestyle. So everything in the communication needs to change for certain people. And I think that the only key is the differentiation.
And what's interesting as well is actually what a lot of clubs don't realise is a lot of this, because I go to a leisure centre, so it's a publicly run one, and if I go at say 9-10 o'clock in the morning, I'll never go early, but if I go 9-10 o'clock in the morning, funnily enough for us, it is like Wetherspoons. It's all the old cronies in there. So there's me in my, well, I still think I'm young, but there's me in my late 40s. Everyone else is 60 plus. And it is a great environment. Everyone's chatting to each other as they're walking around, and it's very different. You go in the evening, and everyone's training. There's very little conversation going on. There's very little of that community, natural community, where the older guys in the morning, everyone's chatting to each other. The old dear, the old man, they're all, how you doing, and talking about the grandkids, whatever. It's a weird environment.
What kind of OAP gym do you go to, Ryan? I've never seen.
I'm going to take you, Russ, when you come up. It really is. And you just think, well, okay, that's probably a very small minority, but somehow they've created that. Now you have to question whether the club's created that or whether we don't have many gyms up where I live in Skipton, and so you don't have the big David Lloyds and all those. You know what I mean? You have your CrossFit clubs, and then you have the leisure centre, really. So maybe that attracts that type of. And over the years, they've all got friendly and whatever. I don't think they've actually done anything to drive that, but it is interesting. But what the point I was making was a lot of those people will train at times when it's not peak. So you're off peak times, it's actually driving more business in. So why wouldn't you go after both markets? Because they're not really conflicting.
Yeah, I guess it's a difficult one because on that one, you could. So I've worked with companies before and brands before where we've done very specific demographic based older prime memberships, whatever you want to call them, prime of your life memberships. And I guess it's difficult because the penetration is going to be so much lower. It's almost like corporates. It's a similar kind of thing that people will go for it. They'll tailor a marketing campaign towards this. I think it's as you were saying, Martin. It's So like your client that you were talking about. So I'll just focus on that. But people give up on it so quickly because it's a slow burner. Because those people are harder to get to. There's less of them, less people are going to be interested in the first place, so you have to keep going at it. It's not like the same as a corporate. You're going to go into a corporate and say, have you got anyone who wants a gym membership, and then their business is all going to be queuing up down your gym the next week. You have to work at those things. So I guess it's those quick and slow burn initiatives that you have, the ones that are going to bring you're going to penetrate your 16% that are already open to the gym, so you can work on those. And then you've got your other initiatives that you're just going to have to be patient with, that you're just going to have to work at longer term. And I guess those are solutions and things that you link up, right? It's the short term, and this is going to penetrate now, so this is going to give you your clients now because you need cash and you need members. But don't forget that actually all of these things, your strategies, you can have these flowing underneath, and then you might get a steady flow of 5 to 10 memberships coming in for the next couple of years if you do this well. But don't just focus on this because you're only going to have 5 to 10 memberships. So it's that balancing act, and those are the kind of solutions, I guess, that you bring in.
Yes, I was the whole time thinking about one solution for me it's always a mind opener because since I come more from the software area of the fitness industry, and when I try some equipment, I am a bit slow in understanding some equipment, and especially with one, it had the target group of elderly people. So these are devices that are excellent for mobility.
Oh, okay.
And since I come from, I used to do performance sports when I was younger, so I always train and stretch myself. So I never needed a device for that. So for me, it had my difficulties to understand A, the target group, and B, the product itself until I tried myself. And then it stretched me in a totally different way. And it was, okay, I got it. But you don't find these kind of solutions in every gym. So that was something that I wanted to mention. In most gyms, the products are also quite similar. And if the products are similar, then of course you will reach a very similar target group. And then you have this, I forgot the word in English, but this circle that keeps repeating itself. Because literally it's the only thing that you're offering, and then you're surprised that the same kind of members come to your club. But expanding the products that you offer is, as you say, so one possibility to get to a new audience, to a new type of members, and then grow with those memberships as well.
The other thing, and Russ sort of linked on this, is because of the age of those members. A lot of them, if you think of the 60 plus, 55 plus, even those guys were the guys before the internet. Mm-hmm. So as they've grown up, from a marketing perspective, obviously, if you go after the younger population, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, job done, that you can get hold of them. But you're not necessarily going to reach that older population with those sorts of campaigns. So you've actually then got to have experts like yourself to say, guys, those actions that we're doing to get that isn't going to work. We need to do, and it may be as daft as flyers, banners. Do you know what I mean? Going back to the old school stuff, like me and Russ would have done back in the day, the proper guerrilla marketing, because you've got to reach them in a different way. Do you have to start doing outreach in the coffee houses and the Wetherspoon? You know what I mean? Do you have to go to where they are rather than suddenly putting an ad on Facebook and expecting that 65-year-old to see it? Because it's not that likely. And I know that's the fastest growing demographic for Facebook, has been for a while. But you still got a lot of people that don't interact with the internet and social media in the same way, and especially in that age group. So it takes a different slant on how you market that business if you're going after that demographics. And I think for a lot of clubs, they just can't be asked. It's probably the easiest way to say it. They just don't want to. So because it's a harder way to market, it's very easy just to put an ad on Facebook or Google or whatever and just go, yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's a lot harder than to physically go out and find your clients, and that's potentially a reason why we don't.
Yep. And I think that the issue is that so people who work on this area, we tend to believe that we are all very similar. So we are creating this bubble in which we are all, and we confirm each other the whole time. We say, oh yeah, right. So we are staying in these platforms, in LinkedIn, Instagram. I had my moment because a large part, for example, of the German industry works on Facebook. Yeah. And me and I remember a colleague, but I would also call him a friend of mine from the Netherlands. We needed to recheck our Facebook accounts at that time, and it was, but it is, as you are saying, you need to go where your clients are. You cannot expect to put something on, I don't know, TikTok or WeChat or whatever, and then expect that someone who is not on that platform to see it. So you have to think on different ideas.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of sort of projects that you're working on, what's coming up? I don't know whether you want to talk about the UK stuff, because I know you're potentially looking at that. But in terms of projects that you got going, what's next for FitLink?
So we are working with several projects at the same time. Yeah, so I'm thinking if I should explain one or two, but I think that I managed to describe 5 to give you an idea of what the people are doing. So we are in good contact with the company Amalgama, which is developing new software solutions, not to compete with the ERP or CRM system, but to create different solutions that might adapt to the CRM system, for example.
Oh, wow.
So they are an amazing and very innovative concept that is trying to find new new places and create new products. They are, I can only recommend a conversation with them because they are also very, very friendly and very active in the industry. They are going to very relevant events also in the US. Coming here to Cologne next week, so we will meet personally. So the people from Amalgama have this amazing concept. Mindset Move is a very interesting company. They are the ones who do these stretching devices and mobility devices. And I can only recommend it to try it because it's very different to what, and you see it, for me, it was very different to only see it and understand the advantage. In the moment that I started stretching with it, it was different. And one that we have a close conversation, so we always talk with them very, very friendly. And I think that they lead some innovation in one area is track bar, which is the possibility to put a sensor in traditional analogic machines.
Okay.
And digitize the experience in those machines.
Wow. So yes. You could take an older machine that's been there a while and put that on, and wow.
Yes. So it's always pin-loaded machines. Yeah. So it's not free weights. But it brings the whole concept of sensors is very interesting because it brings the possibility to digitize experiences without changing everything that you have in the gym. So it is,
because that's the challenge, isn't it? For like when the new tech comes out, you're almost having to spend another £50,000 or euros or whatever to put new equipment in, rather than being able to. Because most of this kit now, it's so well built. I mean, some of the live fitness stuff will last for 20 years. Okay, it might have a few scratches on it over time or whatever, but that kit, usually when they do a rollout and they flip it over, that kit gets sold into an emerging market. I know a lot of the UK stuff used to go to Romania and Albania and places like that, because it's still got a huge lifespan on it. And yet the big clubs are shipping them out every 5 years. They're rotating the kit round. But so if you've got a solution like that where you can actually just go, right, we'll take your old kit, but we'll put this on it. Now suddenly you've updated into the modern era. I think that's a fascinating direction.
Yeah, I think I can only talk well about them. So because I love the idea of digitizing new aspects and also to don't throw away things that you already have, or to deliver it to a new gym. If you can improve the things that you have, then it helps in a very efficient way gyms to digitize their current offering. So
absolutely. I don't know whether you saw this morning, someone put a post out about a new gym that eGym have done out in America somewhere, and it's fully AI. So the gym itself still got staff, so they still got the staff doing the service style, but the kit itself will you put in all your details and it will write you the program based on your goals, but also your current condition. It'll reset the machines so the weights are right for you depending on how you're performing on the day and stuff. And so technology like that really fascinates me, because you're sort of going, I don't agree with AI taking over the service element of our industry, because I still think people are the biggest reason we go to a gym. Otherwise you may as well be at home. But when you can take technology and use it in that way so that it enhances the experience, I think it's amazing.
I think it's lovely. So I have I've been watching some of the eGym solutions in the last days a lot, and the whole experience is impressive. I got also in contact with two solutions in the last days. One is a AR robot, which does service on the gym. So literally the robot goes through the gyms and talk to people.
Wow.
Literally, and it offers you different options. So I need to dive in more in what it offers, but apparently it's also capable of, through an API to ChatGPT, have a conversation with you and eventually, do some service. So understand what you need. If you want to, I don't know, put some configure it so that it can improve the way that you are doing an exercise, or have some questions about a service robot. So I found it amazing. And then I got also a conversation yesterday with someone who had a totem for the reception, so that you don't have to put your so it's like a kiosk. But the problem that you have with the kiosk is that many people, as we were talking, the elderly generation, so they go to this kiosk, try to put some information, then you get frustrated because you have to put your card details and something, so you need a person. So this guy thought, okay, why don't I do exactly as the hotels in Argentina do? Yeah, why don't I have one service person in this totem? Yeah, so that when a new customer is detected, this person can come to the camera, yeah, and guide the member through the through signing the membership.
Wow.
Yes. So literally, there are a lot of solutions out there, and this is the.
And I guess for something like that, you wouldn't even need the staff on site, would you? You almost, because it's someone that you could have a club in Spain, but the operator in Argentina,
Yeah.
it wouldn't really matter, would it? You could pick up multiple clubs as a business doing that as well, as long as you get the club right. But it's actually clever. Absolutely clever.
It's clever, and I think that we will see next week in person, but then in the next years, a lot of creativity, and also a lot of creativity is coming from new countries. So we are very used to think, okay, the German engineers or the British solutions or the US solutions, but now more countries have different access to new technologies. And we know about these examples of people doing with AI extreme videos and people showing a lot of talents. And you are like, so someone from India is producing some great content for one area or whatever. So I think that we will see in the next years, with the rise of these emerging countries, a lot of wonderful solutions. So I'm super curious about.
I was going to say super exciting for you as well, because if you're bringing people to market, you get to see all those new technologies probably a lot earlier than the likes of me and Russ would see them.
Yes, yeah, I would be happy if we stay in this wonderful connection, and then you get to know from them. So if I do my work correctly, you get to know about them only a few days after that I heard from them. So
awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Looking forward to that. Well, we've been on for a while, so it's probably time to wrap it up. One question I did. Sorry, Russ, have you got anything else for my final question?
No, thank you.
No, I mean, I can't believe that Martin went from Argentina to Brazil, and he didn't mention the Argentina-Brazil football result the other night. But apart from that, I was just going to ask his thoughts on that as an Argentinian. But that was my last question.
The thing is that so I'm having sort of international conversations the whole time, and football can be a very sensitive topic, especially talking as an Argentinian to Brazilian people. So I'm very flexible in avoiding that topic, making some joke and then coming out. And if someone doesn't bring the topic, then focus on the professional area.
I tell you what, though, just quickly, those grounds must be some of the best experiences to be a fan. Isn't there one stadium with 250,000 capacity in either Argentina or Brazil? And you just think our biggest ones are like 100, 110,000, that sort of, but 250,000 people in a stadium must just be bonkers.
Yes, and I haven't been to a game in the UK. I know you guys have a similar tradition to the Argentinian one, but similar.
Fighting.
Right?
I said fighting. That tends to be the British fan tradition.
Yeah, we have this tradition of hooliganism, which is a topic also in Argentina. But I know many Germans, of course, or Spanish who go to Argentina, and then one of the things that they do after eating all the Argentinian gastronomy is, of course, watching one game of Boca Juniors or some other big team, because the experience should be totally different to what they have ever seen.
Yeah, it is incredible. I've seen one of the stadiums and they're just monstrous. So just one final question, Martin. In terms of, I always ask this to the guests because it can be quite fascinating, but what inspires you to do what you do? What's your biggest inspiration?
That's a good one, and I didn't expect it. But I would say that my whole history. So as I say, I was migrant here. So I came new to Germany, and seeing that some things were not there. For me, it was kind of obvious. But then if you look at it at a professional level, and you have conversation with German clubs, and when in those conversations, they do not know that there is a solution that could solve all their problems or everything that it's in their mind. So there is a solution in France, yeah, and they almost describe that solution that would be their dream. And having this conversation with people and realizing that we can connect different cultures and different markets and then help each other with new solutions, that's something that motivates me daily.
Fantastic. Well, if anybody does want to get in touch with Martin, because obviously there'll be companies over in the UK that are looking to move into Spain or Germany, even Argentina and Mexico. So if someone does want to get in touch and have a chat, we'll put all of Martin's details at the end of the podcast. But really appreciate your time this morning, Martin, and thank you very much for coming on.
I thank you, Ryan. I thank you, Russ. It was a great pleasure.
Yeah, great to meet you, Martin.